Good. All right, everybody's ready. So let's get right into this. So first things first, every morning we come to Forex Factory or whatever news website you'd like to use to identify what high impact news events are on the table today. As you can see at 10 a.m., we have high impact CAD news, some medium impact US dollar news, but more importantly, that CAD news is coming in. So we're going to start this morning, like I said, with GBP CAD. You can see I've got the 1 minute chart here, the 15-minute chart on the right side. I'm going to blow up the 15 minutes so we can kind of take a look at the overall trend and I can show you where the bias comes from. Now, we're going to work through all the pairs on my watch list here on the right side. I'm going to show you why some pairs made the list, why some pairs did not make the list, and where we're looking for money elsewhere this morning. But the reason we're starting with GBP CAD is because right now what I'm going to show you is the potential for an A1 entry signal to present. But what ends up happening is as that signal does not play out exactly as our backtesting tells us it should, it could induce you to still take longs a few minutes ago, and those longs would have just been stopped out as this pulled back. So I want to break down for you how we can really avoid getting into trades like this too early, even when we're close to getting a signal, so that way we can avoid losses like this one would have been if we were to buy it here off the 21 EMA. But before we get into that, I know a lot of you guys saw behind me, the crash course is coming out tomorrow. I talked about it a little already this morning in the beginning of the stream. I want to remind everybody, the crash course is going to be out tomorrow. You're going to hear about it everywhere. I've got images, I've got videos. I actually have a free chapter of the crash course going up on YouTube tomorrow morning before we even do our live stream. So it's going to drop while I'm asleep. You guys are going to be able to start grabbing it as soon as we get into tomorrow. I know that some of you guys are in the UK, some of you guys are in, Asia and Australia, New Zealand. I wanted to make sure that it was available for you guys while you're still awake, because I know some of you go to sleep as I'm waking up. So tomorrow, it's Thursday, that's when the crash course is going to be out. And really, what you're going to get in this crash course is the newest, most valuable, most jam-packed information in a 1-hour course that we've ever put together. The price is unbeatable. There's no way that anyone's going to say, oh, this is too expensive. You guys are going to say, Austin, you should be charging more for this. I put a lot of research into this new crash course. And the second part of the crash course, which I haven't been talking about too much, is the Trader Toolkit. The Trader Toolkit is part 2 to the crash course. And once you guys see the link to buy the crash course tomorrow, you'll be able to see the link to get the toolkit if you'd like as well. And together, those two new products are what I'm really going to be pushing the rest of 2021 and probably into 2022, because I think we are going to see a huge influx of people into the day trading space, into the Forex trading space. And I know there's so much fluff out there. As everybody here can probably relate, there's so much information on social media and the internet. It's very hard to know where to start. So I want to give it to you guys, and then I want you guys to help me share it if you find value in it. Because I think for a lot of new traders, this will shortcut their learning curve by, if not months, years. And for me, the way that I built it, my thought was, what do I need to put into this to give to my younger self? When I got started in trading 6 years ago, what would I want to know? And that's what we put into the crash course and the toolkit, and that's why I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So that's coming tomorrow. But now back to GCAD. So let's talk about this. So first things first, we're going to start on the 15 minutes so we can see trend from yesterday. You see it picked up here during the New York session, breaks out for a new high of day at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then runs through to its average daily range, actually exceeding that average daily range, continuing the uptrend. Overnight, it pulls back to the 50 EMA. Market sentiment holds very bullish, which tells us that we should see more rise today. So this morning, a lot of guys were looking here at the 21 EMA for an A1 entry. The A1 entry is what we teach in the beginner course, not in the crash course. The crash course kind of comes like as a precursor to the beginner course, just to get the foundation laid. In the beginner course, we go over the A1 entry, and the A1 entry comes off the 21 EMA, or the 21 and the 50 EMA, but at least the 21 EMA. So as we pull back to the 21 EMA, we're in an upshift with the 8 EMA above the 21. Market sentiment is very bullish. The yellow line on the TDI is in the buy zone. So everything here looks like it's ready to move higher. So as we come to the 21, we also can check the 1 minute, because we actually got some bullish divergence in there. If I sync up this white line, you can see price action is falling as it comes to the 21 EMA on the 15 minute. 1 minute price action is falling, but the 1 minute RSI is rising. So some people would use that bullish divergence and get more excited about this trade and potentially jump in long here before we actually get a good A1 entry. Nothing here presented like a good A1 2-candle or 3-candle formation. That's what we teach in the course. That's what the backtesting shows us. Because there's no formation here, there's no entry. We have a bias going into this, is what I just explained, but no trigger signal. And even with this 1 minute divergence, that isn't enough to give us a D1 entry, because normally the D1s have to come off the 50 EMA, which is the blue line here on the 15 minute, or the 1 minute 800 EMA. That's the same thing. not the red 21 EMA. That's only for A1 entries. So you can use this bullish divergence if you get an A1 candle formation, but because you get no candle formation, you cannot use this for entry. And notice it doesn't even give you a really good 50 EMA retest. It breaks the 50 and just falls, pulling the market sentiment back into the sell zone, which is not what we would want to see. So if you're patient, if you understand how to trade the signals, and you are not just trading based on bias, meaning you feel like you have a direction and it should do this. If you're waiting for good signals, you're not even in GCAD today, you're not taking a loss. But there were a few guys in our group chat this morning. We have 1,300, 1,400 members. There were a few guys this morning already in GBP CAD. And I really want to stress to you guys, this is where you're trading with just bias, no trigger signal. You can have that long bias. We could wait here all day for longs, as we should. We shouldn't flip the bias and go looking for shorts. But just because we have the bias to buy it, that long bias, that doesn't mean that we want to flip and just jump into entries and start taking any old position. We need a trigger signal. We need the A1 2 candle, 3 candle formation, or we need the D1. And here you have none of that, so you stay out. And what does staying out do? It saves you from getting stopped out as this pulls back down. Does everybody follow me there? If there are questions, put them in the chat right now before we go on to the rest of the pairs. I want to make sure you guys understand the difference between trading with bias versus trading with bias and then trading the trigger signal. It did retest the 50 EMA once with the 1 minute L. Yes, but it did not break down through. This is not a 50 retest that we would like right here because that does not come down through. Okay? SDR to answer your question. What's up, everybody? What's up, TJ? What's up, Randy? I'm talking you up to some of my friends. Tim, that's awesome. I appreciate that a lot. Yep, we'll go over UJ in a little bit. Good morning, Bridget. Capital protection over capital growth. Exactly. Everybody with me here? I think we're good. So we're going to